Aloha, aloha, aloha to all the warriors out there. Road 245, day 17. Day 17. So today, I deviate a little bit and I wanted to talk about a design that I created and came up with recently um, to commemorate 20 years of learning to live without a loved one. Uh, and as we get closer to uh, the birth date, I'll explain a little bit more in depth about the 20 years. But today is about the Lehuanani print. And if you don't know, my first name is Lehuanani. And this is the story. Earlier this year, I was I'm always in creative spaces. That's my go-to space to declutter my mind, decolonize my mindset. Especially when you're dealing with a lot of you know pressures with your job or with your kuleana, with your responsibilities. And so I always go to this creative space, and that's really why I've been like creating jewelry pieces and um, been getting ready to go to an event on Oahu. And the creative space for me is kind of my decompression chamber. Um, and so earlier this year, I knew my 45th birthday was coming up, and I knew was going to be this year. And I knew that I was going to um, come to a recognition of it's also 20 years of dealing with not having a loved one in your life that was there for the 26 years before or 25 years before 20, yeah, something. I forget the number I was when, or how much old I made when this all happened, but I think I was turning 25. And so I came up with this print. And the print, I took it and I put it onto these denim jackets um, that I got from Old Navy. And I wanted to do something different this year for Mary Monarch, but also to commemorate my auntie and her not being here for the last 20 years. So I came up with this design called the Lehuanani print, and it's based on our idea of kapa and printing, and a Kapa Kuiki, which is our quilts, our Hawaiian quilts. And so this particular design holds a significant dear space in my heart because it is called the Lehuanani, and it is in honor of my auntie, my godmother, who always called me by my first full name. And as a result of that, that whole side of my family calls me Lehuanani. They never ever really call me Lehua, which is what everybody else calls me. Uh, and this particular design is a pattern that accentuates the lehua blossom and the lehua flower and the liko that the lehua sits upon on the ohia tree. And I wanted to showcase something that um, was distinctly that idea of my name being called by a specific person. Um, Very rarely do people in my life now call me by my first name, but there is a handful of family and loved ones. They do call me Lehuanani, and she was the very person that always had this calmness when she said my name. And so this particular design is dedicated to her. It's dedicated to me stepping into that name named Lehuanani, which is what my mother gave me. Um, because I was born on her birthday. And I thought it was such a great opportunity to showcase the amount of love and aloha I have for my godmom. Um, how every time she would say Lehuanani, like it was just that more special. And when she passed 20 years ago, um, there's not a day that goes by that when I hear my name that way, I don't ever think of her. You know, like it's always a remembrance of that childhood, um, that love, the love that she had. And was she perfect? No. Um, but she was perfectly imperfect. And if there's anybody that taught me how to endure pain through love, my God, she was that person. Um, and her mother was a quilter. Her mom, Tuzi Teresa Marzo, was a quilter, and I remember growing up and going to the Moku'u house and seeing the Kapa Kuiki, the quilt, laid out in the living room. And when it was laid out in the living room, you couldn't walk in the living room. You couldn't step over the Kapa Kuiki. You couldn't step over the Hawaiian quilt. And you could adore it and see it and love on it from afar. But it was Tutu's, you know, creation. It was her work. It was her creative space. Uh, and so, you know, marrying that memory of my upbringing and then um, bringing that to the idea that this is how I wanted to commemorate my godmother, her daughter, right? My tutu's daughter, who is my godmother. Um, this design was born. And um, it's going to be a selective print. Um, I think after 2026, we're just going to retire this print and not print it anymore. Just because it's one of those things is like when you have something that's a gem and that's has that much energy and mana in it, like you don't want to just overdo it. You know, you want to be able to find that the specialty that it is. Um, so we printed this year. The four flowers is a reflective, is meant to be reflective, for you to sit in reflection, to think about and understand, like, where are you mentally, where are you emotionally, where are you physically, and where are you spiritually. And so that was the four panels of the lehua. And then of course the pico in the middle is the liko, because everything starts from the bud. And everything starts from the lepo and the dirt, and then it, you know, it moves through life. And what is interesting about the ohi lehua tree is the first tree to come up and to grow out of a lava field. And so its resilience has everything to do with it weathering everything that's thrown at it: storms, hurricanes, downpours, new lava flow, ocean, you know, crashing on its shores. Like, it's meant to withstand so many things. And so upon that ohia tree sits the liko, and from that liko bursts forth the lehua flower, which is what we use and adorn ourselves with in the hula world. For one, if you're a dancer, and then if you're a lei maker, of course, it's one of those flowers that when you can get it and you want to be able to wear it, you have to learn to make a lei of it. Um, Nowadays, with everything that's going on with the liko and the lehua, um, my way to contribute back to our community and our culture is to take that same concept, that same beauty, and create something that you can still wear, still hold dear to you, um, but we're not necessarily taking everything out of the forest like before. So this design called the Lehuanani is my dedication to my godmom, Leimonomi Pakele, um, and because she always called me by my full name, my first full name, and I wanted to I wanted to make sure that I could commemorate her in a special way. So I bring to you guys this print, the Lehuanani print. Again, we'll have it. We had it this year in Bear Monarch at the booth. We're gonna have it at Ilau Kahula on Saturday, and then we'll have the last of it at the Mama Wearable Art Show in Oahu. So I printed them to you guys, the Lehuanani print, and yeah, this is me saying mahalo to all of you. Always keep aloha in your heart, because when you have aloha in your heart, you have more aloha to share with the world. And I truly and honestly believe that aloha will save the world 1% at a time. So if you can, always take aloha with you. You guys have a good one, and aloha and ahui ho.